Hey, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at.
Depending on where you're at, yes. And for those of you who don't know, our home offices are out of the Phoenix, Arizona area, and they don't do daylight savings. So I'm always like, when this happens, I'm like, Jordan, because she's in Arizona, I'm like, make sure you know what time zone or what time to meet. Because one time, one year, she almost like, what? Oh,
Yeah.
right. You remember that? That was like 2 years ago, that actually at this point. Um, but so, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar on advanced page layouts. We know it's spring break time. We know a number of our United Ways are out at Great Rivers Conference, as is our buddy Brian from our team. So he's not on with us today, but let's see here. I lost my attendee list. Good deal. We got a lot of you in the room. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and use our time well and get started. Just as a friendly reminder, this is or not this is Zoom webinar. And so you use the Q&A box to ask questions, not the chat. So do please use that Q&A box, type something in. We're going to have some links to send out, so we would like at least one person to say hello to us so we have something to respond with. And let's go to the next screen. All right, Jordan and I are presenting today. I'm Allison. We're going to lead you through this webinar about advanced page layouts. Chrissy is joining us as well to help moderate any questions coming in. And Brian is out at Great Rivers, and Christina is unavailable today as well. So here's our agenda. We're going to do some Know Your Audience poll. Got a few questions for you about what you do as far as page layouts go. Give you some did you knows. I'll do a decent show and tell of different pages that I think people have done a great job styling. And then Jordan's going to go through a review of the different page components. We're going to give you an opportunity to maybe help build a template together. So if you want to be logged into your website, we'll guide you through some ideas, but we do have what did you do, Jordan? Four different template designs, like as an idea of having some pre-fabricated layouts that you would then use on your pages so that you have that consistent flow page to page. Unlike other platforms that maybe have like page layouts for you to choose from, our platform is one where you just get to decide what you want that to look like. So we're going to help guide you through that, which I think is going to be pretty cool. We'll close it out. Let's see here. So let's do our Know Your Audience question. I'm going to launch that poll right now. And it should be up on the screen. So there's two questions there. One is about your style guide, and you have a page /headings. Are you familiar with that? Do you use your heading ones, your heading twos, your heading threes in order? Do you like to overwrite it? Do you love your style guide, not love your style guide? Do you not have any idea what I'm talking about at all? Which is, in fact, a fine answer too. So we're going to be talking about, what your everyone's website has a brand, has a theme, has a color combination that you are should be following, has a font style that you should be following. So just making sure everyone's kind of on top of what that is and how to find it and what it's about. We'll be talking about that today. And then the second question is just about do you feel like every time you sit down to work on a page, you're like starting over with a brand new idea, or are you kind of trying to follow a consistent theme? And if you're a place that has a lot of folks who work on your site, consistency can get really difficult when you have multiple hands, multiple cooks in the kitchen. You don't know what you're going to get. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Let's go ahead and end the poll. Okay. And I'll share those results real quick. And Jordan, jump in if you have any comments. Um, so, yeah, we've got it all over the place, which is kind of what we've expected to have as an answer. So we're good with that response. And thank you for participating. We always appreciate that. All right, here's my Did You Knows for this webinar today. Did you know, and this is a good one, and pretty much most all of our themes, like if you have a section, well, most of you have page header image on your page. So you have a basic page and you have a header image. Did you know that we at One Each can preset a default header image for you? Maybe if you're branded United Way, maybe it's a swishy asset layout that if you don't have a picture to put in and you're like, I really would like to have something up at the top, we can have a stock one or a set one. It could be imagery of your location, whatever you want, that is defaulted into our setup. So a default header image, a default news picture. Some of you might have seen, if you've ever used our news in events, that there's like a blue box. And if you don't do anything, the blue box shows. Well, that's a default image and it's a blue box. It's pretty boring. So maybe you'd rather have a silhouetted your logo or something, people or whatever you want. Those are changeable by our team, and it's going to be every page default heading. You can always overwrite it. You don't have to use it. It just makes it quicker for you, and it allows you that consistency. So that's a definite good. Did you know? Even with like the team images, or if you use our team for staff or board, you want just a placeholder, you know, stick figure head for when you don't have a picture yet, that can be put in place. Did you know? I know you guys hear me say this. ADA compliance rules on images is the best practice not to have infographics with words on it. So try and avoid heavy amount of words in an image also, which goes hand in hand with the next one. A lot of times, if there are words on an image, they don't do well to mobile. So do make sure that you're checking the mobile view. Every site should have a mobile toggle. We'll look at that when Jordan's in the site to make sure your page looks good on a mobile device. Always check that. It is so easy to get what I call is tunnel vision to the screen you're on. Like you're like, oh, let me hit the space bar so it lines up perfectly. Never, ever hit the space bar to line something up because on the tablet, on the phone, on another larger monitor or different monitor, that spacing that looked perfect on your screen does not look good on someone else's screen. So you would never space with hitting the space bar, things like that. So make sure you're checking your mobile. And as far as those images go, on any page, now we've talked before about the rotor and the header images. Yes, they'll crop to kind of the center, but your internal page images. So you have a page and you're talking about education program, and then there's a picture of kids at a desk. That picture on that page should definitely resize automatically to whatever device it's on. So whether it's on a phone or tablet or a large monitor, it shouldn't be like half the images off the mobile device. And if that's the case, that is a support ticket because we can fix that. And that's for those pictures within the body of a page. So make sure you're checking that. Like maybe the pictures are in columns. They again should auto size. Make sure there's adequate buffer when you look on the mobile. Sometimes you'll the picture's like right at the edge of your phones and you're like just like a little bit of space. So fun things you can put in a ticket and we can make some adjustments on it. The last did you know that's listed here is everyone's website should have a / headings page. Means you go to your website, whatever your website address is, oneeach.com / type the word headings in. And in some cases, they're private pages, so you might have to be logged in. So if you're not, you want to log into your site, go ahead and see what that page is. And that page should show you what your heading 1 looks like, what your heading 2 looks like, what your default normal is, what your hyperlinks look like, and gives you kind of an idea of what this is what we're referring to as your style guide. This is what we were talking about in that first question. And here's an important tip to you. We want you to like your style guide. It is very important to follow order of operations, being heading 1 is your page title. And when a search engine crawls your website, it crawls the code side of the page, and it's specifically looking for these things called H tags. H1 is page, it says H1 start, H1 stop. That's a page title. And the search engine goes, that's the title of the page. And so when people search and it's doing all its little AI stuff, it goes page title. That's it. So H2 is the next one. It's the next most important nuggets of information you're saying about this page. So, for example, like an About Us page, About Us is the page title. Our mission is probably your H2, or our vision is your also an H2. And you're using those headings in that order, and you're telling a search engine what's the keywords are to the page, what's important about the page, what's on the page. And it's important not to just jump to H4 because I like the color better or something. So we do want you to love your style guide. We'll talk about that and make sure you're, if you want that adjusted, it's a universal adjustment that can be done by our team. Sound good? Did that all make sense? Jordan, how am I doing?
Yeah, doing great. And I just pulled up our headings page on our demo site to make sure we show and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, you make sure you cover that since I just said we wouldn't. I wasn't planning. I'm like, oh, I hope Jordan's going to talk about that. Okay, but I am going to do a show and tell. It's kind of my thing. I've got a bunch of sites up. You might see your own site out there. Shout out to you guys for all your great work. And if you're sitting here going, I have just created the coolest site, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. We'd love to share the work that you're doing because that's how we discover cool things is because you guys do them and you do a fabulous job. So let me do my show and tell, and then Jordan's going to go through components and actually building out some template pages. So let's take a look at some of the great work of our folks around us. I'm going to start with a couple of our YMCA pages. And this particular YMCA has done a very nice job of creating some like divider graphics. This right here that you see in here is just an image, but it adds a touch to the page that allows it to just kind of give you that white space. And here's the thing with pages, white space is a good thing. You know, you don't want everything so crammed in together and so hard to follow. So they've built in their own little dividers that they've made. They're using background colors, just default background colors to divvy stuff out, which you'll see in here and there. Just a nice design on how they went about doing this. So these are tabs. This background image is a gradient blue to the corner type of image, which I think is very clever. And they just added as a background to each one of these. And it adds consistency, it follows their brand, but it divides up a page nicely. So this is idea generation for you, something you can do for sure. That's that image, another one from that same United Way. This is actually a background image, which you can also do. Picture of kids, that's faint and light, or something that's darker and you turn the text white. Or it's scenery. It can be whatever you want it to be. You can have the ability to upload. And again, they've made a lot of these line graphics. And then on this page, they have the silhouettes. And I know in this case, I believe what I've seen with these guys, and this is a different theme with the sides, is that if we're under one of the main menu items, all of those ones have sort of a blue hue, and under the next menu items, all of those have like a red hue. And that's the consistent pattern that they follow. Things to think about in like having your website really flow visually. All right, let's do another one. And this one I like to show. They just finished this and presented this at their annual meeting on Tuesday, I believe. And they went ahead and created their annual report on their website. So instead of printing the documents, they have created it as a visual page. It's a long page. And because of that, they are using these section jumpers. Like if I want to jump to the community campaign section, I can do that. And I can go back to the top. But So it's their own working annual report um, with accordions. Here's your donor lists and who's running your campaigns. So inside these accordions, you have equal columns with different data and information. But accordions, what I love about accordions and your page styling is it allows you to put a lot on a page. Like you don't want those long lists of people, just that page would run and run and run. So inside of an accordion, lists of like your donors, that kind of stuff. They've got links out to their programs, sidebars with some of their stats in it. So very, very nicely done. Yeah.
Hey, Allison, can you go back? Lisa had a question on the YMCA page examples. There was one asking about three columns. Did they do a three column? And I think yes, within the
Oh, equal columns.
they did do three equal columns. Yeah.
So here's, yeah, that's a great question. So when we go through components, thanks, Jordan. When we go through components, you have a different column options. You have equal columns, two uneven columns, or three uneven columns. Those are your base column options. Know that equal columns is as many as you put in it. This is an example of three equal columns because they picked equal columns and they did a rich text editor, a rich text editor, and a rich text editor. Once you do three rich text editors, you have three equal columns. Whereas this is also equal columns, but they only did two rich text editors, so it's two equal columns. If they had done four rich text editors, it would have been four equal columns. So equal columns sometimes throws people because they think it's just two. Equal columns is flexible based on the number of things you put under it. Okay. So great question. But unequal columns, you're either going to have two unequal or three unequal. And then it'll ask you, do you want the smaller one on this side and the larger one on this side? Or, you get to pick it around. Good question.
Yeah. And I'm going to jump in with another one because I see Sarah just put a good one in the Q&A before we move on. So if we go back to the annual report example, we'd love to see that in a mobile view. And then while
Yeah.
you're getting that set up, Sarah, I can answer the question on the accordions because we'll cover that as soon as we get to a little more the components page I have. But yes, you can absolutely add columns within an accordion. The great thing about page components is that you can add components within components. So you can stack them. We have the column wrapper component, which lets you add a mix of rich text and buttons and, different types of components. So we'll cover all of that, but yes, you can add columns inside accordions.
Yes, and I'm seeing the question, so I'm going to jump in on some of these. The page jumpers, they're called anchors, so you know the title. Yeah, let me come out of this one. But yes, the accordion and the mobile view of this annual report looks great. It's just going to stack it right all on up. So it's a long page, no doubt. The jumpers or anchors, as we call them, still work on this as well. So I can still pop back up to the top of it from here. But let me take this out of here and answer a few of these questions. So these anchors, when I click this, leadership, donor, and corporate, and it takes me to that section, there is a code placed in here that's an anchor code that helps move it. That is going to be something that you're going to want to work with your account manager on to get set up if you're wanting to pop up and down a page a lot. We'll show you how to use something called anchors. It's not, it does need to kind of be coded in, but it's not hard. It's just something we'll show you how to do. So we don't tend to teach that in our regular classes, but we can work with you to do. I want you to know that that's possible so that you do know, like if you have that kind of page where you want those main topics at the top and you want them to be able to pop down. Yeah, it's something that can be done. We can help you with it. So great. Can you do an annual report in any of our themes? Absolutely. This is just a page. I mean, it's not that it's an annual report page. It's a basic page, folks, that they styled and they used components to the max degree. We've got here, unequal columns with column wrappers and different, oh yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff like, see, now this is just a background image behind here. financials, accordions. This is an accordion that has equal columns under the accordion: rich text editor, rich text editor, rich text editor. And then they put the stuff in it. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? So know that my goal in doing show and tells is kind of to let you guys know what your system is capable of doing. Now, do you know how to do it? Maybe not, but we do, and we're happy to help you. So this is a great time to get some good idea generation and think, oh, I like that, or maybe I want to try something similar. So there you go. All right, I got a few more. So let me show a couple more, and then I'm going to let Jordan actually help build some templates. Campaign toolkit. Again, this is just an example. We got equal columns and here's 3, and we got equal columns and here's 4. And the way this works, like you see here, this row with these images and these samples, and these link out to their documents. This is one equal columns for rich text editors. And then what you do is you clone it. And then you have a second row of equal columns with 4 boxes, and you switch them out. Here's equal columns with 2 rich text editors just with videos in them. So yeah, so some things you can do to organize. I think a lot of times it's like, how do I do this so it's engaging and it's interesting and it's not just like this long laundry list of stuff. You want some visual, you want some pictures, you want to have these links. Sometimes with these posters and graphics, it's nice to actually have a small picture of it. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're not doing that as an information piece. You're doing that more as a, hey, if you're wanting to download it, you click it, and then you're going to get the whole big thing, and then you can download it. That's what their purpose is behind this, so that someone can sit here then and download that and have it to use for their campaigns. Okay. Another campaign page. I grabbed ones that I like layouts. So this I like to show because this sometimes people don't realize. How do you get the buttons side by side? Guess what that is? Equal columns, equal columns. Link button, link button, link button. If you do 3 link buttons under equal columns, you have 3 buttons side by side. And of course, you can pick the color you want them to be and style them out. Lisa, I'll help you with your campaign page. And we can send you some of these links out there. So, yeah. Here's again, a lot of times with the campaign pages, it is definitely about how to organize all of this information. Instead of having 5 pages about this, you can have 1 page because Accordions does allow you to organize it in such a way that you don't have to have so many pages. What we tend to find is you don't want someone coming to your site going, I can't find what I'm looking for. And the reason they can't find what they're looking for is because you have it too many pages and they don't know where to go. If you can consolidate it all into 1 page about, say, campaign materials and use accordions and stuff, then they know they're going to the right place. And then they just navigate that page. Okay. This one I was just showing because they used a carousel at the top. And carousels are a feature on the site that not too many of my customers tend to use. They're nice for images, for a sliding bar of images. But I also think I wanted to show this to say they're also nice to use for just to catch someone's attention about words. This is our kickoff day. This is, it grabs you, right? So a slider of words or what I would call a carousel is an idea that you might have with a background color to put attention somewhere on a page. Okay. And some of these samples I'm going to show now are going to be some of the templates that Jordan's going to show that we've kind of pre-designed. But our donate pages, for those of you who are using, say, the Stripe form on it, I do love this column on the right. So this is an example of a page using 2 unequal columns. Larger column on the left with web form. Narrower column on the right with what's called a column wrapper. And what a column wrapper allows you to do is it allows you to have multiple things in that same column. And what this is right here that says safe and secure online is actually a rich text editor with only the words safe and secure online in it in white text with a gray background. So the reason this is separated is because I don't want this to have a gray background. So then this rich text editor is the bullets with your normal font and your dark gray text with no background color. And then another rich text editor with the text in white with a gray background. So this column right here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rich text editors all stacked one after another, with the difference being a color background on the ones that we're using as labels, just to kind of break it up a bit. So just ideas. And the header image on it's always nice. Similar, this one doesn't have the different breaks, but it does have links out to, say, using those graphic images on the side to link to different payment options. All right. This is another one I like. This is going to be one of the templates she's going to show you, so I'll run through it really quick. But I do want to throw this out here. This is 2 equal columns. Left side, we've got a picture. They've graphically made this. So this is things that you would think about in your own design room. United Ways, and I know there's a lot of you on this, leaning into the circle. If you have the skills and the ability to do something with the circle, it looks nice, and it ties nicely into your brand. And then this is a column wrapper with a rich text editor and a link button below it. And that's all in 1, 2 equal columns. Jordan's going to show it to you on the back end, so I won't go too much into that. Divider markers, kind of like what we saw at the YMCA's page where they had the little dividers, things like that. Those are creative, just to help add to a page. And just another one with some breakdowns. I'm gonna jump fast here because I want to let you get going on your stuff. You have a lot to do. Oh, I do want to tell about this. Okay, this is a whole different thing. Didn't even talk to Jordan about this one. So in our newer site designs, we have something called our team. And with our team, you might have staff pages, board pages, maybe partner agency pages. Some of you have them with like a red circle around it, or in this particular camelback theme, it might be a red slider, or these guys change it to a different color. What is great is this feature called Our Team. We can make a variety of them. And for these guys, they wanted, and the site's actually not live yet, for their programs, they wanted a separate set of agencies that would show on the Healthy Community page, and then a separate one that would show on the Youth Opportunity page. And these will all go to informational pages about those organizations, and then a separate one for financial security. So this style that you have, whether it's the circles that you have in some of the themes or this overlay, I want you to know when you're talking about page layouts, it can be used beyond staff and board and agency. It can be used for stories and different things. Just talk to your account manager and we'll help get you set up. But you can use these more than just the traditional, and they're kind of a neat opportunity to do that. Grant opportunities page. This is tabs. I didn't have a bunch with tabs, so tabs with some background colors. I think Jordan's gonna mess with that one a little bit possibly, and I think that was my last. There you go. Those were my samples. Did more questions come in?
One just popped in, and that's the About Us element, which I'm not sure.
About Us element. When I was talking about the About Us page, maybe?
When you were on the Repurposed Our Team,
Repurposed Our Team.
I believe.
Yes.
And Tony, let me know if that's not correct. But
Oh,
okay, Repurposed Our Team. Yeah, this was technically not a page component. So if you're down further on the page, Allison, under the where we've got the sliders, this feature right here is not a page component that you can add to a page, but we do offer this as a content type. It's called the Our Team content type, and it
content
comes
type.
with this page, and this is usually where you see those headshot images, and the panel slides up, and you can click to learn more about the board member. But this is just another way to use them. We can just repurpose it and really name it, whatever you guys need. So it's just another cool option that's out there that you don't typically think of when you are looking at the Our Team page.
Yeah, it's a styling option. So when you think of the components that you have when you're building your site in our Drupal platform, you have a basic page, and you have like your events, and you have your news, and you have your web forms and different things like that. This is a component type called Our Team that allows you to have a link to a page about it. It's kind of like your staff and board pages. I just wanted to make people aware that this is a creative use of that, and it might be a creative use you like. So there you go. All right, I'm going to stop my share because it's Jordan's turn to do some more.
Let me get all my screen.
It looks good on mobile. It just stacks. But yeah,
Okay. All right. Hopefully, I'm sharing the correct screen here on the headings page.
you are on the headings page.
All right, so I wanted to cover this one first since we mentioned it in our Did You Knows as well. As Allison mentioned, we do put a preset style guide on every site. So you can see your heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, all those colors, all those sizes. You'll see it usually twice on this page. One that's in that kind of basic text box that automatically comes on a basic page. And then we do also add it within a rich text editor in a component because sometimes there are differences there. So this is always a great page to come and review. I mean, first thing when you get your website, make sure you like all of these colors. If you want to switch around, if you want heading 4 to be yellow and you want heading 2 to be blue, those are all things that we can change globally on the site so that you're not having to manually change that every time you go in to create a page. So this is a great section to review. We also add in some page components to this page too, so it's a good place to come take a look and see, what page components look like on your site. You can play around with them. So just a good kind of dummy test page for you to use as well. So if you don't have a headings page on your site, if you type in /headings and it is not there, please let your account manager know. We can get this added to your site. All right, so I'm going to jump now to a page components page that I've made on our Javelina demo site that just has all of the components added to the page so we can talk through them a little bit. I did post in response to, I believe, Lisa, right toward the beginning of this webinar, all of the page links to this page as well as some template pages that we've created so that if you need to reference them, you can. On the page components page here, let's see. I've got at the top an accordion. So when you open the accordion, I tried to put in a couple accordion FAQs so you have a reminder. One of the big ones we hear all the time is, can I change the color of the section title up here, this from blue to a different color? The answer is yes, we can do this, but it is a global setting, meaning that we can't change it per page or per accordion. If you like the blue, it can be blue all throughout the site on every accordion. If you wanted a different color, we can change it, but it will apply to every accordion. The other one that we hear sometimes is that maybe your plus button here is missing on the right-hand side. If it is, just get a ticket in with our support team. We'll make sure that's added. And then across our themes, they may look slightly different depending on which theme you're in. We may have the accordion styled slightly different, so it might not look exactly like this, but it should function exactly the same. So we've got accordions here. There is a carousel page component. This will let you put slides of content within the carousel. And as Allison mentioned, this can be slides of text. It could also be slides of images. You can also control how fast these slides are going to scroll across your screen. You can do a manual click. You can do, every 3 seconds, every 5 seconds. Some good reminders
Jordan,
here. Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah.
Since we kind of were mentioning the images, um, question on image file size. Yeah, I saw it, Chrissy. The challenge is every time I try and upload an image, it's too large. I'll let you go ahead and address that
Oh,
challenge.
okay. Yes. So we do put some restrictions on image sizes within the site, and for good reason. We do that because images that are very large in file size will slow down the page loading time on your website. So I'm sure everyone's encountered it. You go to a web page and it takes forever to load. It is usually because there are very large images on that page that is taking the time to load. So we do set some limits there just so that we can help keep your guys's sites speedy and working fast there. You may see a couple image restrictions. We'll jump into the back of the page right here. If you are trying to upload into an image field, like a header image field or an event field, you may see an error here when you go to upload that image. That's usually the only time you'll get that error. It'll say file size too large. Our file size limit is 850 KB. If you need to compress some images, if you've got some really large ones, there are some free image. I'll Google, free image compressor, and there's some easy ones that you can pop your image in. It'll compress it down to a smaller size, and then you can upload it into this field. Um, where you don't have necessarily a restriction is in your components in a rich text editor. When you are going to add images, oops, my image question mark is disappeared from me. Hold on.
Mm.
Ah,
So some more questions are coming in while you're maneuvering
yes,
that, which is, how do I know what image size is right? Which I know some of the things do. I think it would be helpful to kick out to the support site and like the theme, where the theme image sizes are, and for almost every theme has them. Should.
yes.
Are you
Let's
following me?
right now. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So on our support site, support.oneH.com, we do have an images section here that lists out all the image sizes per theme. So you can
Ooh,
come here and find your theme, click into it, and then we've got all of the image sizes listed out here and some recommendations for the internal pages. Um, we also have an image gallery. If you are struggling with images, if this is something you're having, a hard time with is constantly having to resize images. We do have an image gallery, images.oneeach.com. These are all compressed. They're all sized appropriately, so you can use it at any place within your site. It's a great tool. We update it with new images. They all come from iStock. They're images meant specifically for web. So if this is something that you're interested in too, if this is a challenge, reach out to your account manager and they can get you set up with this.
okay.
The
And
Oh, go ahead,
go
Allison.
ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay. And then if Allison or Chrissy, if you can pop the links I posted earlier, and it looks like someone needs them
Yep.
that got here a little late.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, yeah. Great. You do it.
Okay, let's jump back to the page component. So we talked a little bit about the accordion. We were on the carousel. I did pop in a few FAQs on our carousel, which is if you are going to use images here, just make sure that they're all the same height. Otherwise, as this slides, your page might bounce because it's going to be adjusting to the height of that image. So that's our big recommendation there, is just to keep that height the same.
So that's so perfect, because you and I were talking about that earlier today, and just someone said, is there another way to do it besides dragging out the corner?
Yes, there absolutely is another way to do it. Let's see if I can go in. My image tool is not wanting to work for me at the moment. But when you are in your IMCE file browser, when
Yes.
you're going to upload an image,
Just go to IMC.
that's good.
Oops.
Just saying. Sorry.
Oh,
Oops.
You have
I
to spell it right.
logged in.
There you go.
Hold on.
Well, don't know what to tell you on that one. You broke it. Okay. We'll just talk you through it. Go ahead, Jordan.
I'll talk you through it. I think it's a permission. I was working in a different user role in here. It's our demo site, so it's not completely set up. But within the file browser, if you've ever noticed at the very top when you go to upload an image, there is also a button that says resize. So you can automatically resize the height. That's the one you want to focus on, is putting in a height in there. Our I think what did we put it in at 500 for the height, Allison? Was kind of our recommended height, or
It just depends. It depends on what you're trying to rotate. If they're tall pictures or wide pictures, I usually go height more like 300 maybe or so. Just depends on what it is.
yep.
But that way you don't have to drag on the corners. So when you're in that image resizer, you can always set the images as you're bringing them in to make sure, either if you're aligning them in a column, that they're all the same width, or if you're having them side by side, that they're all the same height. That's what I tend to do. There is a ability, there's a corner dragger that you can drag and resize. And in the newer sites, it does show you what the number is changing to, but you're like, I'm trying to hit 300 and I'm at 299 and I'm at 302 and I can't get to it. You don't have to do it that way. You can actually set it when you upload the image and make sure all of them match. If you need help with that, reach out to your account manager. We do this stuff all the time. Happy to help. It's handy.
Yeah, it can be helpful. Moving down, we have our columns equal. We talked about this a lot. You can do 2 columns, you can do 3, 4, you can do 5, depending on what you're putting in there. It really just depends on how many components you pop into this columns equal kind of parent component. We've got modal buttons that look like a little button, and then when you click on it, it's a little pop-up. You'll have the option to put in some body text up here. I did both body text and a web form. And then there's also an optional footer area. You can put additional content in this modal. We've got 2 uneven columns here. So I made the left-hand side column a little bit larger than on the right side. On the right side here, I did that column wrapper, which allows me to stack those components on this right-hand side. The tabs down below, the 3 uneven columns, and then I did some accordions inside the columns as well as another button. And then we have a view component. This is not one that's used very often, but can be helpful if you're trying to pull in views that are already created on the site. And views are like this is the staff view that you have usually on a separate staff page. If you wanted to pop that view into a different page you were creating, you can do that. I also pulled in the latest news and updates that I have on the homepage of this theme because I wanted to, tie that into the rest of the content on the page. So it is possible to do that. If you've got more questions about what is or isn't a view, or what those options are, your account manager can help you with knowing what your options are there, but it's definitely possible to pull those in on pages. So we did want to show them. Okay, I want to jump to our template pages as well to show those off. While we cannot clone these template pages to your site directly, we can provide you these links so you can see what's available and you can work to recreate these on your own on your site. So we've got this template 1 that we created. We added a nice header image in here at the top. We added our equal columns here, and then it did text and image side by side. There is a component that is called text and image that you'll see. My personal preference is not to use the text and image because the image field on that component goes to the media library gallery and not your main file browser. So that's why we always recommend going the columns route and creating that text and image look yourself. So we've got our text here, our image. Then I added another just rich text component underneath so I could put a little more text and a button. And then I just stacked, again, some 2-column components with our image and then a text and a button. So on the right side here, and I'll show this on the back end, I have equal columns. The left side of my column is a rich text editor with a picture, and the right side is a column wrapper with a rich text and a button so that they're stacking side by side. And once I was able to create this one, then I just cloned it and swapped out the content for the rest of the page. That makes it a little bit faster. I created again just an image, kind of a line break that's just an image that I popped in, and then a rich text down here at the bottom. So if we were to look at the back end of this page, I've got all of my components listed down below, and you can see, and sometimes I think it's helpful for looking side by side. So I've got 2 equal columns with my 2 rich text, and that is this top section right here. Then I've got another rich text editor underneath, which is what we're seeing in this space. Then underneath that, I have a link button that I have just centered the button, so it's centered right underneath that text. That is this button right here. And then we get to our columns. So I have one set of equal columns with 2 columns in my column content, a rich text and a column wrapper. So that's making up each column. And then within the column wrapper, since I have that on the right-hand side, I've got the rich text and the link button. And that creates this look that you're seeing right here. And once, as I mentioned, you created it one time, I can come to that full set of columns and just start duplicating that all the way down. And that way I just have to pop in and adjust, the image I got to swap out, or I can go in and swap out the text there. So that is our template 1. We also have a template 2 that we created. This one is one of the ones that Allison showed with the donation page. We've got the web form on the left-hand side of the column, and then the really great information kind of on that right sidebar. This is just a text with a background added in. So we have at template-2, you can come take a look at this page. We have a third page here as well. This one, we've got a column of buttons up here at the top. Again, some rich text editors, columns with an image and some text underneath them. 2 columns with some buttons down here, 3 column options, and then some accordions.
I'm going to answer a question that just popped in from Kelly.
Yeah.
So Kelly's like, hey, does every website have a template option? I don't see it. So Kelly and Jordan, you can jump on top of this. So no, their templates are something you are going to create. So that's what we're going through. These, when you're seeing this template 1, 2, 3, and 4, Jordan created them yesterday. As a matter of fact, we've had them before, like we've done them on sites, but this is our own creativity. So this isn't meant to be like, this is an exact template that you have. These are coming from some of the samples that I showed you earlier that were like, wow, that's a really great design. What if we have a ready to go page that has 2 columns with boxes here and this, so that I can just clone this template and then every page has a consistent look. So just to clarify, the templates don't already exist.
Yeah, that's a great point, Allison. And when we say template, it does require a little bit of pre-work, which is why we tried to get some of these on our demo site so that you can reference them, you can recreate them on your own site. And once you have them built out, or once you've created your own templates, within your content management system, when you click on content and you come here, you'll be able to see your templates. And here is where you can go in and clone. So if you need to recreate a page and you want to use this layout that you've created, you've done all the work, you've got all your components there so that you have it laid out like you want, then you can come and clone that page and then swap the content out on the new page. So that's how we're using them as templates. And you can clone pages, and you can also clone components on the back end too as you're creating them. Duplicate is the component.
Yeah. So this is an idea generation for you guys about like, what would you want as a template so that your site flows well? So one of the things I might step back and say to you as you're listening to this conversation, you're thinking about this, is go look at your site. And if you have some standout pages that you spent some time building and you're like, I would really rather love that page, maybe you make a clone of it and call it a template. and unpublish it, hang on to it, so that the next time you create a page, you do a similar one so that your site flows nicely. So that's what we're doing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just clarifying that.
Perfect. Well, what I was hoping to do was take this great page. We thought it was a great layout. It was a nice and simple layout with a few different components to really kind of engage users when they come to the page. We wanted to create this on our demo site to be used as a template. We could create it together if you've got your site pulled up, or you can always come back to it. We'll save it as our template-5 page. So if you want to come back to this page to reference to recreate it, you can do that. So what I'll do first when I want to create a new page that I want to use as a template is just come to my basic page. That's all they are, is just a new basic page. One of the other things I want to mention just very quickly is Allison mentioned in our Did You Know facts the ability to put a default image in. And when you do that, this is what that looks like. So this is a blank basic page that I've just added. But as you can see, I already have a header image popped in here without having to add it myself. And that's because I've added this image as a default image for this field on my basic pages. I can always override this with a new image, but if you have a team of people working on sites and you just want consistency and to make sure that every page has a header image that looks nice, this is an option here. And we can do this for any, again, any image style. So I just wanted to show that.
Question on this. So let's just say I go, wow, that's a great idea. And I put a default image in, but I have 20 of my pages didn't have a header image up at all. Will those suddenly use that header image? I would think they would.
If they did not have a header image added, then yes.
Selected. Okay. And then let's just say 6 months from now, I go, I want to change that image out. And I go and change that default image. It's only going to change it on the ones that were using the default image and not on the ones that I had already overridden. That's what we would think would happen, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
If
confirming.
to add a new image here, let's say I want to replace it. You absolutely can do that. It takes away that default image and pops in this one, and that won't be changed if you change the default image. And then if I remove this and say, never mind, I don't want it, it just goes back to that default here. So a really useful tool to help keep some consistency across the site. I am going to add a header image here. And then let's jump down to the body here. This looks like just a rich text editor with text and image. So I'm going to add that here. Oh gosh, I am going to pause for 1 second. We're going to log in. I think I have a permissions issue happening.
Yeah.
So I'm going to log in.
Yeah, I'm like, why can't you go to your IMC? You broke it. This is live TV, folks. This is when we're trying to prep these webinars and get all this stuff together and log in and log out. And, technical issues happen to us too. It's a real world. So you're not the only ones. So yay for that. All right.
So back to our component. I think so. I've got my rich text editor here. I can now access my file browser. You should be able to see a little magnifying glass here to the right of the insert image field. This will open up that IMCE where you can access all of the images that you've uploaded on your site. If I wanted to resize this image like we were talking about in the carousels, you do have that resize button here. If you click on it, you can give it a height. I'm going to give this one a small height and say, let's do a 300. I'll click into the width and that will adjust it. And then what I would like to do personally is create this as a copy of this image because I still want to be able to use this as a header image maybe on some other pages, but I do want a smaller version of it too. If you don't click create a copy, it will change that original image size to this new one. So I'm going to hit resize and now I have my second image here. If I double click, I can pull that into my rich text editor. I've got my image set to align with some text wrapping. And now I can start to put in some text on the right-hand side. of the image. We'll just put some demo text here. And what does our example show? They have a little link with a learn more button. Learn more, and this is hyperlinked. I'm just gonna link it to the home page, but I'll set it to open in a new window. So I've created this within just a rich text component, but another option here is to create it in those equal columns. So you can create 2 equal columns, put an image on the left and text on the right. And then underneath we've got some tabs. So we'll quickly add those tabs. So I know we're running short on time. We can give a tab 1 in the tab name. I'll add my component to the tab body. Again, I can select whatever component I want. If I want to put columns within this tab, if I want to put, just a text editor, I do have that option. We'll put some more demo text here. We'll just copy this. And then I know we had a question about how to add the background color on the components. On every page component that you see, there will be some styling settings down underneath the component. This is where you can change the width, some gutter settings. You can pick a background color that has been added. You also can upload a background image. I know we showed some great page examples that had an image actually as the background on that section. That is possible as well. You can choose a color. You can upload your own image. And then when you go to save, you'll see that pop up behind that. We're short on time, but I'll continue to build out this page so that you have it as a reference, and we'll send out all of these template pages to you so that if you want to start to recreate some of these on your own on your site to give yourselves those template pages, you can reference them here. And as always, your account managers can help build these out as well. I know we've got a lot of questions in there, Allison. Do we have?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and so I'm just put the recording to the webinar link out there. Some of the questions about like removing photos and stuff. If you are uploading something in your IMC, is what we call it, takes a really long time to open and load. It's because maybe someone loaded a bunch of 5 megabyte images and you're like, can I remove them? You should be able to remove them. You should be able to go to /IMC, but we warn you with a big warning that if you remove something that's actually being used on your site, you will have this like broken link and things. So you just want to be very careful with that. I would recommend that you meet with your account manager just to look through and make sure you're not removing things that could be detrimental. 2 columns for formatting photos. They should show up side by side. Oh, I'm so glad someone asked this. Biggest tip, you guys, please do not use text and image. Should have said this sooner. So when it comes to styling out your page, some of you will have this option that says text and image, and you put it's a component style. It's really it's not very flexible. We always recommend always just use columns equal, 2 unequal columns, or 3 unequal columns, and use rich text editors. If you ever see something called image, it's just not a very flexible tool and you will get frustrated. So we recommend just, if the only thing in a rich text editor is an image, that's fine. And I know we're like way out of time. I don't even know, we don't need to worry about our exit poll, but
I just wanted to show, so I've added a text and image here because it is, in certain scenarios, it can be useful, but you can see I've added an image, but I have zero control over how this image is sized right now. So I cannot go back and make it larger. I cannot go back and make it smaller. That's why we recommend the columns, because it lets you have so much more flexibility when creating those. So okay, let me pop up. We can run through maybe our closing very quickly if everyone can hang on for just a minute here.
Lots of questions. Thank you, guys.
Wow,
time's flown for you too. Wow, it has for us too. Thank you. Thank you all for hanging in there.
Yeah.
We hope you found this interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, as a reminder, we do have a newsletter we send out. It's got tons of great examples of sites that have just gone live, of pages that have been great. If you're not signed up to receive those, We send them out, I think, every other month or every 2 months. Please sign up to be on there. Our blog is also a great resource, as well as our support site. All of our webinars, which we're doing today, they're all recorded. They all get posted there for you to go back and take a look at. Do we want to jump into the poll, Allison, or we want to skip through it?
Skip it.
All right. Then in closing, yeah, here's our reminder, our support link, support.oneinch.com/KB/webinars. You can find all the recordings. Give us about 24 hours. We'll get this recording up. We'll also send out all of the links that we went and visited to
I
today.
will.
If you've got questions for our support team, maybe you want to do a default image, maybe your accordions are missing that plus button, please reach out to our support team. They can help you. As always, our account managers are here as well. We are working on some changes to our webinar schedule. That's why you see the TBDs. We'll have more information to share. We love doing these. We're just adjusting a couple things on our end. So we will have some more webinars coming out. We'll send some information out on there soon.
Yep.
Okay, I think that was all our closing details. If there are any other questions, feel free to pop them in or reach out to Allison or Chrissy.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.